Is Guild Wars 2 worth playing in 2022? Well, yeah, duh. Now let me tell you why that is my opinion. Here's my completely biased, unbiased, opinion of the game. I started playing Guild Wars 2 back during the beta in April of 2012, and then started playing the live version of the game in September 2012, shortly after it was released. I've leveled 4 classes to 80, of which none were boosted. Elementalist, Engineer, Mesmer, and 2 Necromancers. Guild Wars 2 has possibly the absolute best completely free-to-play model among MMORPGs out there. With the free account, you gain access to the entire base game, levels 1 through 80. You can create 2 characters of any of the 5 playable races and the 8 original classes. There are 25 large zones full of content, including renowned heart quests, events, exploration points, points of interest and vistas that you can discover, champion mobs, and world boss events with epic battles, along with plenty of story content such as your character's own personal story and plenty of background info for all the zones and the world in general. You also get access to the 6 major city zones, the regular holiday events, instance content such as dungeons, strike missions, fractals, and raids, and PvP content with ranked and unranked arena battles, conquest battlegrounds, and world versus world massive PvP. Needless to say, the amount of content you get for free is staggering, but more on the free-to-play accounts later.
Alright, and then real quick before we move on to other stuff, I'd like to talk for a minute about the zones in Guild Wars 2. There are some special things that you'll find in Guild Wars 2 zones. For one, many zones have jumping puzzles. Jumping puzzles are discoverable environmental challenges that test your exploration and aerial abilities. There are 45 jumping puzzles throughout the base game's open world. Another 4 can be found in World vs. World, and 2 more are available during special events. If you purchase additional content, you can find another 5 jumping puzzles in the Heart of Thorns expansion, 2 more in the Living World Season 3, and 1 more from the Path of Fire expansion. I have not heard of any new jumping puzzles being discovered in End of Dragons yet, but I hope that there will be more. I find jumping puzzles to be a very fun part of the game. Well, except for the Mad King's Clock Tower during Halloween. That's just an enormous source of frustration to me. Also, the world boss events. There are many world boss events throughout numerous zones, even in 4 of the 5 starting areas, the Norn, the Human, the Asura, and the Sylvari starting areas. So you can be a part of an epic world battle as early as level 7 or 8. These battles can be very difficult, but ultimately the difficulty will be partially determined by the number of players participating in the event. Even the beginning zone, world bosses will get large crowds of players of all levels to beat the bosses. There'll be large groups. They'll go from boss battle to boss battle as they can occur essentially every 15 minutes. You can find the schedule for the world boss events from typing /wiki/ET in game. It will pull up your browser with the constantly updating event timer wiki page.
There are 5 playable races: the Humans, Char, Norn, Asura, and Sylvari. Of course there's humans. Every game has to have humans, right? Humans were the only playable race in the original Guild Wars, which took place 250 years prior to Guild Wars 2. Next up is the Char. The best I could describe the Char would be like a large cat with horns that stands on 2 legs. If you played World of Warcraft, they are somewhat similar to the Tauren, only with cat-like features. So like a cat cow or something. In the original Guild Wars, they were the bad guys. But sometime over the last 250 years, they have now become in an alliance with the humans they used to fight. Next up would be the Norn. Large barbarian, human-like giants that live in the cold zones that have short-term shape-shift abilities. They value the warrior life and the thrill of the hunt. Next, we have the Asura. They are small and intelligent. They are known for their cleverness in combining crafting with magic. Asuran magical technology is second to none, except maybe their egos. And last, we have the Sylvari. These are essentially botanical humanoids. They are not born, but emerge fully formed out of the pods from the pale tree. They are pod people. They have hair like leaves and bodies like branches and vines. They resemble humans, but are vastly different. Next, let's talk about the classes. In total, there are 9 separate classes: the Warrior, the Guardian, Thief, the Engineer, Ranger, Elementalist, Mesmer, Necromancer, and the Revenant. The Revenant is unlocked with an expansion purchase. And with each expansion, every class was given a unique elite class specialization for what is now 36 separate class styles if you have all 3 expansions. In addition, your attacks and skills change depending on the weapon you are using, creating an enormous variety of potential playstyles. You can be a melee ranger, a ranged warrior, or a caster shooting laser beams out of a 2-handed greatsword. You are not able to choose an elite specialization unless you have the expansion the elite specialization is a part of, and your character has reached level 80. You also need to fully complete all of the base game's core skills and specializations, which takes 250 hero points. Hero points are earned through leveling and from hero challenges throughout the zones. I would suggest not choosing an elite specialization until you are sure which one you want to do. While you can have all 3 elite specializations on your character if you have the expansions, you are not able to reassign your hero points after you spend them. I found this out the hard way. And I would recommend focusing on one instead of spreading them between the 3. But there are more than enough hero points in the game to unlock every skill and specialization for your class. So if you decide you went with the wrong elite specialization, you will be able to earn more points rather quickly. You can have 1 elite specialization active at a time, along with 2 of the base game specializations in your build. If you are a free-to-play player, you are limited to the original 8 classes without any elite specializations. But they are still quite fun. Your character can be quite powerful and can create a very fun-to-play class with the base specializations you are able to choose. You get to have 3 specializations active at level 80, and you have many different weapon options to change your playstyle as you like. Now, combat. Guild Wars 2 does not follow the Holy Trinity model of tank, damage dealer, and healer that many other MMORPGs tend to follow. All classes have a form of self-healing, and with the flexibility allowed by the versatile weapon system, all classes can perform the roles of damage, dealer, control, and support. Combat in Guild Wars 2 can be fast-paced, engaging, and tactical. Terrain can get in the way of certain attacks, and many attacks can be dodged. The system uses a skill-based combat system. In Guild Wars 2, you are limited to 10 skills. The first 3 skills are based off your main hand weapon. Skills 4 and 5 are determined by your offhand weapon or item. If you have a 2-hand weapon, all 5 skills are determined by it. Skill 6 is for 1 of the self-healing skills. 7 through 9 are for 3 of the many class utility skills, and skill number 10 is for the more powerful elite skill, of which you have several to choose from. Weapon swapping is allowed for most classes, which switches the first 5 skills, bringing more variety to gameplay. The Elementalist and Engineer classes are exceptions to this rule. Elementalists can switch their attunement between the 4 elements of magic they control: fire, water, earth, and air. And Engineers can change their engineering kits, giving those classes similar versatility to the others. Next, we'll mention crafting. As with pretty much all MMORPGs, there are crafting professions that you can make gear and other items if you like. Unlike most MMORPGs, you don't have to choose between crafting and gathering professions. All characters can gather from resource nodes. You just need to have the gathering tool equipped in order to harvest from the nodes. The higher the zone, the higher level harvesting tool you need to use. Crafting is not required, but is a great source for leveling gear and for gaining XP. You can have 2 crafting professions, or up to 4 if you pay gems to unlock the extra slots. The professions are pretty standard. Armorsmith crafts heavy armor. Artificer crafts magical weapons like staves and scepters. Chefs craft food and drink. Huntsmen craft projectile weapons, bows, rifles, and pistols. Jewelers craft trinkets like amulets, rings, and earrings. Leatherworkers craft medium armor. Tailors craft light armor. Weaponsmiths craft melee weapons and shields. While crafting in Guild Wars 2 is not as amazing as the crafting was in Star Wars Galaxies, in my opinion, the pinnacle of crafting in MMORPGs, it still has more complexity than most MMORPGs, especially with the chef profession, where you mix different ingredients in order to create different meals. Gearing at level 80. Gear is important, as it is in most MMORPGs. However, gear doesn't really become obsolete. I stopped playing for 5+ years, and the gear I had on my character when I quit was just as good when I came back to the game. It certainly doesn't feel like good gear is just out of reach in this game. Good gear is available on the trading post, and better gear can be worked towards at your own pace. The original Guild Wars game was known for its excellent skilled PvP system, and Guild Wars 2 has tried to continue the legacy of valuing the PvP community. In the structured PvP mode, the attributes, runes, and sigils from a character's PvE equipment is not used. Equipment stats are normalized and players select whichever specific set they prefer out of the PvP build panel. You can join PvP pretty much as soon as you are done with the tutorial and level all the way to 80 doing strictly PvP if you prefer, as you are rewarded tomes of knowledge from the rewards tracks, which increase your character's level. While in PvP, your character will be boosted to level 80 to try to keep competition on an even footing. Additionally, there are ranked and unranked PvP matches available, so if you like harder competition, that is available, and if you would like a more casual experience, you can do that too. World vs. World is a game mode combining massive PvP and PvE elements. Players from 3 different worlds, which can involve 6+ servers, battle against each other. It features open world combat over 5 different maps, with several dozen players per map. Again, lower level players will have their effective level and stats upgraded to the level 80 equivalent in order to not be at a huge disadvantage. In World vs. World, players assault castles and keeps with siege weapons and battle over resource camps and sentry positions against players and NPCs. Now, is it worth it to buy the expansions? Absolutely. The first 2 expansions come in a package now. You can get Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire for $30. And you can even find it on sale for half price from time to time. Or you can get the new expansion, End of Dragons, for as little as $30. Additionally, there's a collection set with all 3 expansions for as little as $50. Each expansion includes many large new zones, elite specializations for each of the 9 classes, and mastery points for the base game and the individual expansions. I have purchased all 3 expansions, but I have not yet completed all of them at this point. So there are some things I have not yet gotten unlocked on my accounts. In Heart of Thorns, gliding was added. Hang gliding allows you to use wings to slowly glide instead of falling, quite helpful in getting to certain areas and to survive long drops. In Path of Fire, mounts were added. In Guild Wars 2, mounts aren't just for traveling faster throughout a zone. Each mount has a unique utility that makes them more beneficial. The Raptor moves quickly and jumps across long distances. The Springer jumps high vertically and takes less falling damage. The Skimmer, it's a floating mount that hovers over the water and environmental hazards. The Jackal, an elemental canine that can blink across short distances. The Griffin, a cat-bodied bird that can glide across the sky with great speed. And the Warclaw, a suit of enchanted armor in the shape of a large cat, found within World vs. World, and it is the only mount usable in World vs. World. Additionally, in Living World Season 4, 2 more mounts are available. The Roller Beetle, which is an extremely fast ground mount, and the Sky Scale, a dragon born in the mists, capable of scaling cliffs and flying through the air. In End of Dragons, if you do not yet have the previous expansions, you get access to gliding and 2 of the mounts, the Raptor and the Springer. You also will get the Siege Turtle, which is a 2-person combat mount, skiffs, which are portable boats you can take anywhere. You get access to fishing, which is a new harvesting profession, and Jade Bots, that are multi-purpose assistant droids that can help your character in many ways. Guild Wars 2 has regularly added new content in the form of the Living World. Seasons of content updates that help flesh out more of the story of the world and add in new zones to explore. Season 1 was temporary, and for the most part is no longer available, but Seasons 2 through 4 and the Icebrood Saga are permanently available through the Gem Store, and can be purchased in episodes or in complete packs for each season. Additionally, in the past, ArenaNet has released these past seasons for free if you log in during certain time periods, but it is uncertain whether they will do this again, or if they do, when that would be. The Heart of Thorns expansion is required to access Season 3, and the Path of Fire expansion is required for access to Season 4 and the Icebrood Saga. Now, is it worth it to play for free? Most definitely. As I said before, Guild Wars 2 has possibly the best free-to-play account available. You are not nearly as limited as many other games with a free-to-play option. As a free-to-play player, you have access to the entire base game on 2 characters all the way to level 80. You have access to 8 of the 9 base classes. You can join or create guilds. You can join up to 5 different guilds. You can create parties. You can add friends to your friends list. You can do the daily challenge reward where you complete 3 daily tasks for a free 2 gold reward along with other rewards. You also have some minor access to the trading post, which is the Guild Wars 2 auction house. You can buy and sell low quality items and gear and a select few other items such as larger bags. You also have limited chat options. You can use /save for local area chat around your character. You can use /whisper to contact mutual friends and people in the same map as your character. For non-friends, you can whisper one new person every 30 seconds. You can use standard emotes such as /dance and /cheer. Squad chat is unlocked at level 30, and there's PvP chat. Team chat is available. The PvP lobby chat is unlocked at PvP rank 20. Now about the limitations to free-to-play players. Free-to-play players are unable to use map chat, which is the regional chat, but you can see it. You are limited to 2 bag slots. You're unable to access the free daily login reward that all full access players get. You do not have access to mounts, you do not have access to gliding, and you do not have access to masteries. Level 35 is required to unlock access to Lion's Arch, the main major city hub. Level 10 is required to unlock access to each race's major city. Additionally, you have limited mail options. You are unable to send gold or gear, but you can receive gold or gear if someone decides to send you some. You're unable to use the guild bank. You're unable to purchase or sell higher quality items and gear on the trading post. Additionally, you're unable to enter World vs. World until you hit level 60 on one of your characters. With any MMORPG that does not rely solely on a subscription model, there is concern that the cash shop is going to be a very pay-to-win situation. Guild Wars 2 Gem Store has a large variety of cosmetic options, some short-term buffs, and some utility items, but nothing I would classify as pay-to-win. Also, you can exchange gold for gems, creating the potential to not even need to spend real-life money for many things. In conclusion, Guild Wars 2 is one of the best MMORPGs in the market today in my opinion. Not only is there a large world full of fun and exciting content, but a large portion of the game is available to play for free. And if you purchase one of the expansions and get full access, you are not required to keep paying any fees and you can always come back at any time. So come check it out and see if it is a game that you may enjoy and love. If you haven't already done so, please like, share, and subscribe. Check out my channel and I'll have more content coming out soon.